Hi, and welcome to GUI Programming in Python with PySimpleGUI, the complete course. This is lesson 1, background behind the project, and a little bit about how it came to be and why it came to be. The motivation for PySimpleGUI was a project I was working on, and I found that GUI programming that I was doing with Tkinter was taking up way too much code. It was page after page of code to do what I thought were simple things. In fact, they were simple things. And as I looked around, I found no beginner solutions either. It was Tkinter or nothing, and in terms of what Python offered. And when I looked at the simplified GUIs, and I'm not going to list them, you know what they are, I'm not here to slam anybody's work, but they just fell short. I could not customize them, and frankly, everything lacked a Pythonic kind of feel. There were none that I felt were developed for Python. And so that's what the motivation behind this was. So some philosophy and mantras behind this was, as you can see in the name, simple. Stay simple, but be highly customizable. I want people to get up and running quickly. 5 minutes to your first GUI. That's from installation till you see something on the screen. I think that that's very important to have early successes. I want this to be also a copy and paste sort of method for people to get going. That may rub some people the wrong way, but that's just sort of the philosophy I have here. And the focus is on the developer. It's all about making your life easier. That's why we build these frameworks, right? It's for developers, and it's not. I'm not trying to make API calls to make the framework easy. It's to make your life easy. And the target of this, the big picture, is to change the Python standard library. I want to see some simplified GUI put into the standard library. I have no feelings that this is the solution that's to go there, but there's something that needs to go into the standard library like this that enables people to do good looking GUIs in a short amount of code. And along the lines of being Pythonic, return values are lists and dictionaries. You'll find I also make heavy use of optional parameters, mutable variables like keys. As you already know, it's a single file, so it's easy to install. If the pip install isn't working, you copy and paste. If there's a new version on GitHub and you want to try it out, you download the file, you copy and paste the file into your projects folder, and you're up and running. And I also use none in what I think are solid ways. I feel like it's a unique thing to Python, and we'll see more of that in the APIs. And some of the secrets to the success of this SDK is that it's simple but completely customizable. The whole idea is to remove the pain for the developer. There's an auto layout. You may have noticed or didn't notice that there is no grid or packer. There's no concept to that. It's all automatic laid out using the rows sort of thing that you saw in the other tutorials, where you lay out your GUI in rows, and that's the only kind of grid there is to this. Another thing that I think makes this project a success is the documentation. There is now over 200 pages worth of documentation available. You can find it easily at pysimplegui.org. You can get, so if you go to PySimpleGUI.org, you'll find 3 documents are located there: the main user manual, the cookbook, and the tutorial. The tutorial tends to lag a little. The cookbook and the main manual, they stay up to date. I spend a lot of time keeping these things up to date. Another thing is there's no callbacks, and I plan on keeping it that way. Who knows? There may be some super advanced features where that's coming down the road, but in terms of just general programming, there's no callbacks required for button presses and such. Configure in place is a philosophy that when you place an element into the window, you configure it where you define it for the window. So in the layout, you configure it there, not across several lines, right there when you put it in the window. And lastly, that there's no existing code base that I had to worry about. It was a clean white sheet of paper, and that was very freeing. I'm a little bit locked in now. Limitations, there are tons of those. You can't get to Tkinter. There's no window resizing at the moment. The multi-window support's pretty limited. Window layouts are static, as some of you have learned in a frustrating way. There's no dynamic layouts available. No callbacks. And there's no corporate backing. It's just me. Single point of failure, that would be me, and there's no guarantee it's going to be around next week. And some features aren't fully fleshed out yet, so and they're not fully tested. So that's the background. I hope it hasn't been too boring. We'll get into lesson 2 to jumpstart into high-level APIs. So look for that. Thank you for watching.